Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from Glad Price 5340 from the Am I the Arsehole Here subreddit, and it says, Am I the Arsehole Here if I ask my sister to leave my house since she refuses to watch my kids? Little background story. I, 27 female, married my husband, 32 male. Have 2 kids, 11 female and 2 male. 2 years ago I asked my little sister, who was 20 at the time and she will turn 22 in a month, to come live with us and help out with kids as I needed. She was in an abusive relationship. She needed a place to stay. At first it was for her to get back on her feet since she's getting out of the situation. The initial thing was that we will pay her $200 a week to watch our 4-month-old at the time, Monday to Friday, 6:30 a.m. till 2 p.m. And she could use my car anytime she needed to, and she wanted an afternoon job that was totally fine, and she happily accepted. A month had passed and she said she's getting depressed being inside every day and she can't do this anymore. I told her that's okay. Her mental health is very important, but she should be able to watch the kids when we need her to, like date night, etc., and found someone else to watch our kid. Fast forward 2 years later, she works full time, doesn't pay any bills, doesn't help around the house, not even washing the dishes or takes out the trash or cook dinner, or even buy groceries or things the house needs. Like no help at all. Last week my husband and I went out for a bit. Mind you, we asked her the weekend before if she could watch the kids and she said yes. Within an hour of us being out, my husband and I received this. I just wanted to say to get this off my chest. This isn't an attack and this isn't me being ungrateful. I just want you guys to try to consider my point of view. And my point of view is that I don't appreciate being used as a service whenever it's convenient for you all. I understand this is all I'm good for. But there are some days where I don't want to come home after a 9-hour shift and watch a baby. I didn't decide to have children. You guys did. And the only person who ever appreciates me for it and only thanks me for it is my husband. So it has been building up inside me and causing me resentment that my own sister will refuse to recognize my accomplishments because it's what I'm supposed to do. I appreciate staying here rent-free and I've appreciated the opportunity being given to me, but I don't feel like I should dedicate my life to you guys. It's like now I'm being asked to watch the kids like it's already a given, and that is not something I can ever say no to because when I do say no, I'm treated like Voldemort. It feels like an obligation when it should feel like a choice. I felt like the time frame should have been more discussed because I was under the impression I was watching until 6:30 and not 9:30. Thank you for taking the time to read this again. I'm not attacking, I just want to ask for more clarity. Hope he continues. At this point, that is all she's good for, watching the kids for us for a few hours once or twice a week. And the accomplishment she's referring to is getting a high school diploma at the age of 21 because she dropped out of school a few months before graduating. She still uses my car when she needed to go to her boyfriend's house or work. At this point I'm fed up and just can't take it anymore. My husband tells me she is my sister and I need to handle it, and he is tired of taking care of a grown-ass adult. So would I be the arsehole if I ask her to leave my house since she refuses to watch the kids when needed? I know that is long, but feel free to ask any other questions. Nah, this is a not the arsehole from me. I know it's difficult with the abusive situation in there, but it's been 2 years and I'm not saying she should have gotten over that or anything like that, but she's had a real generous safety net from her own sister to assist her get back on her feet with being rent-free, car access, which I just thought was really great of them to do so. And when the babysitting thing didn't work out, you know, they didn't force that upon her afterwards, which again, fine, things change. But then after that, there was just seemed to be, from what I gather reading this, there seems to be this period of nothing, like no rent, no bills, won't even load up a dishwasher or take out rubbish. For me, and this is very much my point of view, if I was in that position and, you know, I was living there rent-free and all this kind of stuff, and they asked me like a week in advance, can you look after the kid, and I was able to do so, I would certainly say yes to that. It's like she's biting the hand that's feeding her. But in the end, it just feels like it's one of those situations where now maybe it's time for her to find her own place, right? But the first question to OP is not the arsehole, but correct me if I'm wrong. You saying you had your first kid at 16, while your husband was 21? OP says I was a single teen mum. She's not my husband's biological daughter. He adopted her after we got married. Koi Fishy says, not the arsehole. It sounds like this arrangement is no longer working for everyone involved and it's time for you to find other housing. Living rent-free for 2 years while she works full-time means she should have some savings. If she doesn't, that's on her. Give her a written notice to vacate, with the number of days required by state and or local law, since she is considered a tenant. Love Lola says, this is the direction I would go. See how much time you're required to give her as notice and ask her to move out by that date, with written notification. Koi replies again saying, and if any family members complains about, hey Emily, tell them that they're welcome to house her for 2 years, rent and chore free. You did your part. Talk to Me says, not the arsehole. She says it's a given she'll watch the kids, even though you hired a nanny, so she wouldn't have to watch the kids. She's enjoyed your largesse for long enough, just don't frame it as a punishment. Tell her you're glad you were there for her when she needed it, and after thinking about her text, you can't have her feeling used. You'd like to give her 2 months to find her own place unless you'd like to leave immediately. Put it in writing and don't back down. Don't go back and forth over what was agreed and whether or not you're angry. She doesn't deserve your energy. She's an ungrateful arse who started to not just take it for granted, but is trying to drive a wedge between you and your husband. Only he thanks me. No, this will not do, OP. She's a drain on your resources, both emotional and financial. Let her go somewhere she'll get all the appreciation she thinks she deserves. Ditch Digger Girl says, yes, this is good. Any discussion of emotion should immediately be met with, you're absolutely right. We have both been getting increasingly frustrated, and we really should not have let it get this far. I'm happy we're able to give you these last 2 years to build up your savings. I love you too much to let our relationship get strained any further. So OP did update the post and says, thank you everyone for your inputs. That definitely helped me make the right decision for my family. Like many of you suggested, I did sit her down, and I apologize for not showing any appreciations and the fact that she felt used. And I also pointed out that her watching the kids once or twice a week, it was never last minute, is her only way of contributing to the house. And of course, like many of you predicted, she started yelling that I am attacking her, and that I only took her out of the situation was to benefit me and not her. I did confirm that the previous agreement was something I thought would benefit both of us, not just me. I told her since this new living arrangement is not working for anyone at this point, and since she doesn't want to watch the kids, she has 60 days to find better living arrangements. She stated that she never said she didn't want to watch the kids. I cut her off stating that, as her older sister, I don't want to ruin our relationship, so it's best for her to find another place to live. Because her feeling appreciated or not being used, her mental health is very important and it does matter. I even apologized for treating her as my own child, like taking care of her, taking her to all our family vacations for free. I really thought I was helping her, but now I realized I was hurting her. And now she has a great opportunity to grow and live the life she wants to. By the way, we live in San Diego, CA. Minimum rent for 1 bedroom is $2,000. I wish her the best of luck. Thanks again, everyone. Someone says to OP, how did she react to this? OP says she started crying and said that wasn't her intentions for things to get way out of hand. And I told her, we can't go back. Everyone needs to move on. Commodore says her actions met consequences and she realized she overplayed her hand. Good for you. Danex and Wine says we are currently in the finding out portion of the fuck around and find out model. Big Struggle says that's the perfect response. Your sister will face the real world and enjoy her life she wanted. And one more comment says, I just read your previous post. She's just upset her free ride is over. Doesn't put a penny into the house, so her money is her own. Doesn't lift a finger to help with chores. Complains when she's asked to watch the kids a couple of days a week. She had 2 years of free accommodation and full maid service, with free vacations thrown in. No wonder she's backtracking and doesn't want to leave. Chances are she's not saved a cent for the 2 years of free housing. The term homosexual springs to mind. I could kind of see that conversation when OP turned around and said she had 60 days to find better living arrangements, and then I can imagine the sister quickly saying, no, I never said that. I never said I didn't want to watch the kids. The panic in that moment, knowing what's coming next. But in the end, it probably is the best for everyone involved. There's clearly resentment growing in the background here, but what do you guys make of this situation? How would you have dealt with that if it was you? Maybe got a different opinion on the matter. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. Now our next story comes from Dimension Honest 732, and it says, would I be the arsehole if I told my ex that his new girlfriend told me to back the fuck off already? Hiya there. I'm in a bit of a pickle. Oh, I do love when people say they're in a bit of a pickle, and I don't know really what to do here. A few days ago, my 30 female ex's 32 male new girlfriend 27 female texted me out of the blue and told me, first politely and then not so much, to back the fuck off and not contact my ex anymore because apparently it's disrespectful and I should be over it by now. Some context here. My ex and I broke up roughly 6 years ago, but we're still friends. Why? Because we didn't have a reason not to. Our breakup wasn't a dramatic one, just two people who had been together since their late teens realizing that they wanted different things in life. But since we still got along great, and he had his daughter, my, air quotes, niece, who I basically helped raise, we decided to stay friends. The reason his girlfriend's message surprised me as much as it did is that A, it came really out of the blue. I didn't know she had my number. B, she has absolutely zero reason to be suspicious or anything. My ex and I still hang out, yes, but always with either my niece or other friends, and on occasion, we go to school even for my niece. Like when she has a performance or something. I genuinely don't think I've done anything with him one-on-one since. Damn. Since before our breakup, I think. The most one-on-one he and I ever do is when he drops off or picks up my niece. She has a room at my place in case that matters, and we wait for her to get her things. But that's all. Also, his girlfriend and I have met before at my niece's and then my ex's birthday, and she was nice both times. We didn't talk much, just regular hi, how are you, nice to meet you, that's a lovely dress, bye. So I didn't think she had any issues with me. On top of that, I'm dating someone new too. So yeah, I'm not sure what her deal is at all, and when she texted me, my ass was halfway to giving my ex a ring and telling him to maybe have a chat with his girlfriend because something is definitely wrong. But another part of me really doesn't want to interfere with his relationship like that. My ex is a good dude, and from what my niece told me, and from what I've seen at the 2 birthdays, he really adores her. Like he genuinely gets puppy eyes when he looks at her, which that stoic ass man never does. He deserves to be this happy. He really does. And most importantly, my niece likes her too. That wasn't the case with the other 2 girlfriends he had since we broke up. So this is a huge issue I need to consider too. Telling him will put all of this in jeopardy, but like, what else am I supposed to do? I'm definitely not going to get contact with either my niece or my ex just because she wants me to. No fucking way. But she was rather insistent on the matter. I don't think she'll leave it alone either. My flatmate is team, tell him and get it over with. But she's, with love, a bit of a prick. So I'm hesitant to take her word on anything. Hope you had some additional information in the form of comments and says that is the wildest part. She didn't even accuse me of flirting with him. Like, if she had been able to genuinely tell me what upset her, then I could have cleared the air. But she really just wants me gone because she thinks exes have no business being friends. But yeah, I think I'll have to give him a call tonight, even if he does nothing. At least he knows. Somebody says, even if she steps back, to still stay around the child, and Opie says, oh, defo. Not that I think he would drag my niece into this. He's not the type. Also, I'm pretty much the closest thing to a maternal figure she has, and has ever been ever since she was like 2, I think. So yeah, doubt he'd take that from her. And he knows I'd fist fight him if he dared to try. But I'd definitely make sure to mention it. Somebody says about, it's also a hard boundary for them not to have exes around, and Opie replies saying, I guess that's fine. But in that case, it's really silly that she's only coughing that up now. I think they've been together for a year or a year and a half, and she's dating someone with a kid too. Isn't an ex to be expected in that scenario? Granted, our case is a little special because my niece's mother bailed and I'm there instead, but still. Aside from that, I can see that disrespectful thing in general, but really not with my ex and I. Genuinely, the most we do is hug hello and goodbye, and that's normal in my country, as in, I hugged his girlfriend too. Aside from that, I guess I usually pop by on Christmas for an hour or two because of my niece. But outside of that, there's nothing that I wouldn't do with any other friend too. I do think she knows that, however, because when I asked her to give me examples or a situation where I could have made her uncomfortable, she couldn't say anything, just that I bothered her. OP also says, so my ex had my niece before we got together. Yes, he's a teen dad. He and I got together about a year or so after she was born, but I only got to meet her properly when she was 2.5 and have been in her life ever since. So she's his daughter, but not really related to me. The niece title just stuck because when she was a toddler, she used to call me Auntie, my name, and we kept it this way out of habit. As for my family, he will go if my niece asks him to drive her to see my grandma or my aunt, but that's pretty much it. And it's pretty rare too, because I usually end up taking her. Outside of that, the only contact they have is birthday wishes or whatever. My niece, however, is really close with my folks and they consider her family, so she comes around quite often. And one more comment from OP with extra information says, honestly, I'm genuinely not sure how well me making space will work. My niece is a teen by now, a young teen but still a teen, and I've been in her life since she was 2.5. Also, I did do all the mum things with her. I just don't have the title. Mainly because when my ex and I first got together, I was still in my teens. He's a teen dad and didn't feel comfortable with being called mum by anyone. The aunt and niece title just stuck. As for your idea, I wouldn't mind that, but from what my niece told me, they have a good relationship. They hang out a lot and do stuff together, and my niece usually invites her along whenever she has a recital or similar. But the girlfriend works odd hours and usually can't make it. But yeah, I'm not opposed to working things out. It's just weird that I have to in the first place. So OP updates the post and says, hi again. I thought I'd give you guys a little update in case any of you are interested. First, I did end up calling my ex after I came back from work last night. I was insanely nervous because I still felt, and still do feel, bad about rocking the boat. But yeah, you guys were right. It should have been his decision if he wants to cut me off, not his girlfriend's. Now, after some regular chatter, I went in and told him what happened and even read him some of the messages his girlfriend had sent me. He didn't say much as I did, not that I expected him to. That man has a daily average of 15 words, 25 if he's feeling very chatty, and mostly just listened quietly. I couldn't gauge his reaction, so I kind of ended up rambling and mentioning some of the things you guys had advised me to. You know, how he can step back if that's what he needs. I'd respect his decision on that, but I'd appreciate if we could keep my niece out of it and all that. The latter part is where he spoke up, mostly to snort, "You idiot." And then he told me he already knew that she texted me because my boyfriend told him. They're friends and co-workers. My boyfriend apparently noticed that I was more upset than I wanted to let on and asked my ex to call me because something happened between her, me, and my ex's girlfriend. Which makes sense, by the way. I've asked my boyfriend if my behavior with my ex was ever uncomfortable or inappropriate after the girlfriend texted me, just to make sure I wasn't doing something wrong without being aware of it, and I have been stewing over this mess for like nigh a week, so yeah. Not surprised my boyfriend noticed something was up. Max chose to wait until I said something myself before breaching the topic though. My boyfriend didn't tell him what exactly happened, but my ex sort of figured it was something like her telling me to cut contact. He once again, told me that I'm an idiot and I should have told him immediately because this wasn't on. The two of them, so he and his girlfriend, talked about this before, even before they officially got together. And he made it very clear that there was no way in hell he'd be cutting me off because I'd been his friend before I was his girlfriend, and I've stayed his friend for that long after that. And because I'm basically my niece's mum, or the closest thing she has to a mum. So before they started dating, he told her that she'd have to be cool with that. He'd understand if she wasn't, but he'd not change his mind because I've done the legwork and she hasn't. Now, according to him, he was absolutely fine with it, and even told him that she really liked me and wanted to get to know me more after the birthdays I mentioned prior. So he doesn't know what has gotten into her. I asked him if she mentioned something else at a later time, like that something I did or said made her uncomfortable or feel insecure. But she said no. She also didn't hint at anything, and yes, I asked multiple times with examples just to make sure, because respectfully, my ex isn't great at taking hints at all. His brain is wired strictly forward, so anything slightly obscure does not ring any bells in his wee head. As we chatted on, still trying to work out what could have ticked her off, he suddenly got really quiet, and I was like, dude, you there? And then he said that he may have an idea what did it for her. He didn't tell me what though, because he said it's a conversation he needs to have with her first, so I didn't ask further. He did assure me it was nothing I did though. We pretty much left it at that, and he told me he'd have a chat with her and see what's up, and depending on what it is, he'd let me know. So now, we wait. Oh, we both kind of hope that she left it at contacting me and didn't talk to my niece about this. She's kind of been in a funk all week, but keeps telling us it's nothing. So we kind of assumed it was hormones and/or stress and told her to take it easy. But since the dates of her bad mood and the girlfriend messaging me line up, we're worried that she mentioned something or asked my niece to cut me off or whatever. Anyway, thanks for the advice you guys gave me and for telling me to just get it over with. I genuinely don't think I would have done it otherwise. If I hear anything interesting, I'll let you guys know, but until then, I think this is it. Thanks. Edit. I think a lot of people are confused by my niece being my niece and also my ex's kid. Sorry, I should have reiterated before things got muddled. A short stack of facts. My ex-32 male is a teen dad. Yet my niece, while he was still in the equivalent of high school. He and I, 30 female, got together roughly a year after she was born, but he only introduced me to her when she was 2.5, since I was still pretty young then. I wasn't super comfortable with being called mum, so my niece ended up calling me Auntie my name. This stuck and she still calls me aunt today, and I call her niece, but we're not related by blood. Her bio mum is not and has never been in the picture. I did all the mum things from potty training her to seeing most of her first, to going to her parent-teacher conferences and whatnot. This is what my ex says I'm the closest thing she has to a mother. And to finish it up, my ex and I didn't break up recently. We broke up 6 years ago because we wanted different things in life. We stayed in contact because we've always been friends first, and most importantly because of my niece. These days, my niece comes to stay with me at least every other week. Sometimes more, sometimes less, because my ex and I are both chill with her choosing for herself. And she has her own room at my place. We have another update in a moment, but Opie had some more comments and says, I'm fine arguing and fighting myself if no one else is involved. I do, however, genuinely hate being a bother to anyone and rocking the boat by tattling on her, but yeah. At least now it's kind of off my chest and out of my hands. My ex can probably try to work it out better than I can. Someone asked OP if they could look into Nisa's phone, in case the girlfriend has sent something upsetting, and OP says generally yes I could, and I wouldn't even need to peek. She's fine with us checking her phone after we explain that both my ex and I had our fair share of cyberbullies back in the day. The struggles of being/dating a teen dad in the late noughties, and that we're maybe a bit paranoid of that happening to her. So she's fine with that, but she's with my ex right now, so I don't have access to her phone. I'll ask him to check, and if for some reason he can't, I'll have her check myself when she comes over tomorrow. Good thinking. Someone says if the girlfriend said to niece that OP doesn't want her around anymore. OP says God. I sure hope not, because then I'll be throwing hands. She can come at me all she likes, but if she fucks with my girl, I'm done being nice. That'd be downright crazy. I don't care if that girl has any of my blood or not. She's family. I'd never even dream of leaving her behind. Like if I could hate my ex's guts, I'd still always be there for my niece. Someone asked if girlfriend made niece choose between her and OP, and the girlfriend lost. OP says, oh damn, pardon my French, but she'd be so fucking dumb if she actually did that. She's been with my ex, and thus in my niece's life for like a year or so now. That's really not a lot of time in general, but definitely not compared to me. It'd be crazy if she actually expected any decent results from that. Yikes. I sure hope not, because then there'd be hell to pay. I'm not above wrestling her if need be. Someone asked if niece was mentioned in the back-off message, and Opie says, oh no, my niece wasn't mentioned in that conversation at all. The general context was that exes have no business being friends. She didn't mention my niece once. But if it was about my niece too, she could have talked to me normally. I really wouldn't mind sharing the spot. Quite the opposite. I'd love it if my niece had more women in her life, especially one that is a different type of feminine than I am, which the new girlfriend happens to be. Because more variety is always good, and she could show her things that I can't. Someone asked if the girlfriend could be pregnant and is lashing out, and Opie says, oh holy shit, I did not think of that. She probably could be. I'm not exactly asking my ex about his sex life, but I'd assume that, yeah, she could. But that'd be a whole ass mess, because from what I know, my ex doesn't want more kids. So it was 1.5 months later that OP came in with another update and says, hello everybody. I would start off by saying something like, I don't know if anyone remembers me, but you've all been very vocal in my inbox this past month, so I'm just going to assume that yes, some of you do. This all got much more attention than I ever expected, so I'm honestly quite nervous to even update, because I just know the results really isn't what most of you wanted or were hoping for. But my boyfriend and my flatmate were having a field day with all your comments and messages. They asked me to say thanks to the person that came up with the biomum amnesia car accident theory. I don't know either. I stopped reading comments eventually, but they really enjoyed that one. So the two of them were basically bullying me into this. I'm not really sure where to start, so I'll just go by what I was asked the most, I guess. Oh, and before that, I kind of feel the need to clarify. I don't call my ex in real life. I call him by his name, right? I got multiple messages asking me to stop calling him that since we're more than that at this point. So just to make that clear, I'll call him by his first name. Okay, now, first things first. We're all fine. My niece is fine, my ex and his girlfriend are kind of fine, and I'm grand as well. Thanks for checking in and even sending us those Reddit care thingies. You know what I mean. Then a lot of you are asking about my niece and if we ever found out what was bothering her. And yes, we did. My ex dropped off my niece at my place not long after I posted the second update. It was her turn to stay at my place and she was still in a shitty mood, just like she had been this entire time, if not a bit worse. So she didn't even stay to say bye to my ex. She just stomped off into her room and holed herself up for the day. My ex asked me if I could try and have a chat with her while she stayed over because apparently he tried and it didn't go over well. I think we're both kind of on edge because this isn't usually a style, but then again, teens will teen. Anyway, I told him I'd try and send him on his merry way for now. It took me a couple of days to actually get to the chatting. The first few days were really, woof. It's like I was sharing a house with a particularly pissed off velociraptor. I basically spent the entire time throwing snacks and wee little trinkets at her, hoping she'd not bite my hand off in the process. But eventually she cooled off enough, and with some fine needling and enough ice cream to feed an army, I managed to get some answers. Good news, the girlfriend did not talk to her. So lower thy pitchforks, Reddit. The woman is nay a witch. Bad news, my niece did overhear the girlfriend bad-mouthing me on the phone, like some of you guessed. The girlfriend apparently didn't know that my niece was home. She came home early after school and the girlfriend didn't hear her come in. I doubt it was on purpose, but it still happened and my niece did not take it well. She'd been in a bad mood anyway. Just normal teen struggles mind, including, God help me, boy troubles. Does anyone have a handbook on how to handle that? Because I'm not ready, and since my ex took the news like a man going to war, I seriously doubt he is either. And hearing the girlfriend talk shit certainly didn't help. She really didn't want to tell me what exactly the girlfriend said, but it seemed to have been really below the belt. Just going by the fact that my niece was angry crying during that part of our chat. I didn't press her to tell me more since it seemed to upset her. But I did ask her to please tell her dad what was said so that she could get it off of her chest. Which she did do after both my ex and I promised that he wouldn't tell me either. I know that's kind of a letdown for some of you, but to be honest, I don't really care. If she wants to talk shit, she can. I'm just happy my niece doesn't have to carry that stuff around on her own anymore. Now, as for my ex and his girlfriend, difficult. It took a while longer for that to be resolved. I actually didn't hear anything back until quite recently, and the end result is kind of meh. The short of it is, I was catching strays. That's all. My ex eventually called me and told me as much. He also said that his girlfriend would like to talk to me personally and asked me to hear her out, which fine, sure, I'll do that. So they rocked up to my place about a week ago and we all had tea. Let me tell you, it was orcs. The girlfriend was really twitchy and nervous the entire time, and I think we spent 20 minutes just talking about the weather before she finally managed to cough up an apology. That apology was then followed by 50 more, no matter how often I told her that it was okay and that I was more than content to just move on. She was thankful, but she asked if I'd let her explain herself, so I did. And yeah, turns out, well, she didn't really have a reason to come at me, but she did have a reason overall for why she acted the way she did. The first and probably biggest reason I won't tell you because it goes far beyond me telling you about something I was involved in, or me sitting here like, well, she was being a bit of a see you next Tuesday. What do I do? But let it be said, something sad happened. It wasn't anyone's fault. Nobody did anything wrong. It was just something tragic that happens to some people and couldn't be avoided. That's all. The second reason was that she apparently had a minor dispute with my ex about kind of me, I guess. So from what the two of them told me, the girlfriend texted my ex not long before she first messaged me and asked him if I could pick her up from work because she wasn't feeling well. He told her that yes he would, but it had taken him a while since he was about to drop my niece off at my place. Now, what he meant by that was, the drive will take longer than usual because my name lives on the other end of town. What she took it was as, my name is more important than you right now, so you'll have to wait. Honestly, I didn't get it either. That wasn't even the reason he was coming over, so I'm not sure why that is how she took it. But okay, fine. She was in a state because of the sad thing. Maybe that's just how it felt at the time. And the third reason is that she feels kind of like the odd one out in my ex's, and thus partially my, friend group, which was making her feel insecure. And that'd be fine. It's human. But her reason for feeling like the odd one out was apparently that she's straight and most of us are not. That surprised both my ex and I, cause most of our friends are in fact straight. In our collective friend group there's just me, my boyfriend, my ex, we're all bi, and one gay chap plus his boyfriend. The rest are straight as hell. Like, I majored in business, have a wife, a dog, 1.5 children type straight lol. So yeah, we didn't know how she got that idea, and she was honestly very rattled once we cleared that up. All of that then collided into one big ball of frustration, and that frustration was then aimed at the easiest target, me. So she snuck into my ex's phone, got my number, and told me to back off. According to her, she immediately regretted it but didn't know how to fix it until my ex put her on the spot. She also reiterated that she really isn't bothered by me, and that she was being truthful when she told my ex that she'd like to get to know me more. I told her that was fine by me. Yes, this is cutting her some slack. She overreacted and made a mistake. Shit happens, but that she might want to try and talk to my niece before that relationship completely evaporated. But once she's settled that, I'm down for meeting for a coffee or hanging out as a group with my niece or whatever. And that is really kind of where we left it. I did ask my ex where his head's at while the girlfriend was off to the loo and how he's feeling, and he told me he's not quite sure yet. He does see where she's coming from and he's happy that she owned up to her mistakes and wanted to apologize and all that, but he's miffed she even reacted like that in the first place. You know, that she'd rather sneak into his phone and then bitch at me instead of just talking to him. Oh, and he's extremely pissed off about the things she said about me, when my niece overheard her, that is. I didn't ask him more than that because we'd promised my niece, but I did tell him not to let that be his deciding factor, if anything. Apart from that, I didn't pry for more. And that is pretty much it, guys. Sorry that I can't deliver the dramatic story filled with big reveals, harsh realizations, and angry breakups, but alas, real life tends to be a bit boring and shit just ends with people having a wee chat over tea. And biscuits, I hope. My boyfriend offered to act out of a dramatic scene where I break up with him because I realized I'm still in love with my ex. In case anyone is interested, lol, but that's it. This is where we part ways. Thanks for sticking around and all the advice you've given me. I really didn't expect my little issue would get this much attention. So here's to me never underestimating Reddit again. Have a lovely day, night, wherever you are. But now I'm going to turn this one straight to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? How would you have dealt with that if it was you? What do you think's going on? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being here, truly. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.